I'm JK with Elevated Recovery, and today we're going to be talking about transformation. If you want to make the most of your life and live an enjoyable, fulfilling life, merely reaching your goals is not enough. You must find an enjoyable way of attaining your goals, and the process itself must be so worth it that dying while moving towards your goals should not even be a big deal. Now, I believe that for men, the best way to succeed is from the inside out. See, we've been trained to succeed from the outside first, and then inner change supposedly comes. And this is not wrong. In fact, it's very effective. You can be the most negative and happy person with horrible life consequences and still achieve your goals. Financial success, quitting porn, date a ton of attractive women, and even find your ideal life partner. However, this approach comes with a heavy emotional, mental, and physical toll. You'll, probably end up as a wealthy, bitter, and sick old man. Now, maybe this is just my 33-year-old opinion, so you're welcome to take it with a grain of salt. I started fending for myself at the age of 17. And in the years since then, I've learned that there are 3 levels of change. I've been through all many times, in fact, to the point that my 17-year-old self is completely unrecognizable, even physically, to myself right now. So level 1 is situational. Now, let's say you were struggling with quitting porn, or you needed to stay motivated to achieve a short-term goal, like handling maybe your porn-induced erectile dysfunction, or like going for 12 weeks without watching porn or masturbating. You're not worrying about 1 year. You just want 12 weeks, no porn, no masturbation for once in your life. Now, maybe you'd read a specific book on the topic, you might enroll in a class or a course, or you might even reach out to a friend or a therapist or a recovery coach. Now, with this sort of support, you go from inaction to action, or rather from fear to confidence. Now, the effects of this sort of change are very situation-based and they're very specific. So when the issue has been handled, when you've gained control over your porn use, you get on with life as you usually have. And this type of change is very much focused on techniques to give you results in a specific situation. Level 2 is a life area. Now, sometimes a specific situation doesn't matter. It's just a complete area of your life that requires change. It could be you might completely need to change an area in your life that has to do with your confidence, or with dating, or with parenting, maybe relationships, self-discipline, or your self-image. Now, this would take a little bit more work. You may not only read a few books on the topic, but you might enroll in a seminar, you might study multiple courses and seek out a professional who specializes specifically in changing one of these areas. Now, when changing things in a life area, we're usually focusing on different sorts of strategies that we can use. Now, level 3 is transformation. Now, transformation is a situation where you realize that your entire self needs to change. Changing a specific area of your life, developing a new skill, or improving a certain feeling is no longer enough. We want to change our entire selves to be better, a total upgrade. And this change also does one more thing. It changes our experience of everything in our lives. So we're talking about a complete paradigm shift. So which of these 3 is best? Actually, it doesn't really matter. See, I've seen guys with level 1 problems trying to implement level 3 solutions. Like a guy who's a virgin but is trying to learn how to become a man who women are instinctively attracted to, and who women just chase you because of all your great manly qualities. Now, that's a great goal to have, but his immediate issue is how to put his penis in a consensual vagina. It's level 1 stuff. So here's a personal illustration of how this works. This is my story of experiencing the 3 levels of change. Now, in my late teens, I went through this dark period of absolute mediocrity. It was really characterized by extreme hate. I had a lot of anger. I hated society. I hated women. I hated successful guys. I hated a lot of stuff. and I was frequently depressed and unmotivated to accomplish anything. I also spent a lot of time as an online troll. I was about 17, 18, visiting forums, being an armchair expert on things that I wished I could do, like bodybuilding and building a nice body. I was the guy commenting on YouTube videos on how, some guy's lifting technique sucked just because I'd read up so much about the topic. I was terrible at time management and I actually frequently spent hours playing online games, masturbating, and smoking weed. And oftentimes I did all three all day. Maybe it was porn, maybe it was something deeper, but I knew that I didn't like the way I was living my life. I didn't know whether to get on medication or to see a therapist, so I just kept watching porn and masturbating when I felt stressed out. But I did want change. Whenever I got high, I would kind of gravitate towards motivational videos and books. That's what I did when I smoked up. And I guess I liked mental masturbation. Now eventually I grew sick and tired of reading all these motivational books, and I wanted something relatively straightforward that would bring about some type of noticeable change in a short amount of time. So one day while I was high online, I clicked on one of these clickbait ads that promises to, make you ripped within 90 days. And this one was aimed towards hard gainers. That's guys who found it challenging to put on muscle. Now within 90 days, it promised that I would pack on 10 to even 20 pounds of muscle. Now I'd always been skinny and my dream was to be muscular and ripped with a low body fat. So I thought, 90 days? Surely I can do that without fucking it up. So I channeled my rage into bodybuilding and it worked. Except for the fact that I didn't put on 20 pounds of muscle in 90 days. It took more like almost a year to do that. But I looked better than I ever had. I felt that I could at least control something in my life. And that felt really great. Now that semester I enrolled in only 2 easy classes so that I could focus on changing my body, and I took it very seriously. I got 8 hours of sleep per night, I was eating several small meals per day, I was taking the right supplements, working out hard and efficiently in the gym. I subscribed to Men's Health magazine and I lived and I breathed a bodybuilding. Now unknowingly, that routine, the discipline, the rest, and the reduced stress from college classes helped me make changes in my situation. So I felt in control, and that was when I unlocked level 1. Now during fall break that year, I decided to enroll in a free 10-day meditation course. So it was called Vipassana meditation, so 10 days of silence, vegetarian meals out in the countryside. And I always wanted to try meditation, but I never had a good enough reason to. So after reading about an Indian vegetarian champion bodybuilder who attributed his great discipline to meditation, I resolved to try it to see if it would make me tougher. It actually just at the time sounded like some sort of mystical trial that martial arts students from the movies would undergo. So I enrolled, being young. Now meditating for 8 to 10 hours a day was really tough, but over the 10 days of meditation, nothing mystical happened, but I did learn some great strategies for observing my anger and my negative emotions instead of engaging them and rolling in them for hours or even for days. They were simple strategies, but they became tools that I used often. I had unlocked level 2. As I began to build my body at the gym and my mind through meditation, I realized that I was getting much happier. Like a few things were happening. First, I was getting noticeably muscular and girls were starting to give me compliments. I had to start buying better fitting clothes for my new physique, which resulted in more positive attention from people. I was meditating regularly, which led me to gain control over a lot of my emotions, and this control gave me a lot more confidence. I finally came to a realization that I had control over my mind and my body. And it took me about a semester to come to these realizations. I was no longer full of anger, and whenever I felt anger, it would quickly dissipate. It would just disappear as I observed it. So over Christmas break that year, at the end of the semester, I found myself still maintaining my habits of waking up early, of meditating and going to the gym. And I figured that this was probably the best that I had ever felt, and perhaps this was my thing. So I just resolved to live as this new, healthier, mentally tougher person. And that was the paradigm shift. That was level 3. I had unlocked it. But was it really that simple? Now, how do I know I achieved level 3 change? 2 things happened that year which convinced me that I had achieved level 3 change. The first was I made a decision to give up porn and masturbation forever. And when I say forever, I mean till the day I died. The only way I would orgasm was if I had sex or if it was a wet dream. And it would be 2 more years till I finally quit for good. So at the point of me deciding this, I still struggled. The second thing that happened early the next year was a false rape accusation that happened to me. Now, it was a long and absolutely terrifying ordeal. It happened around my 20th birthday. Long story short, I was falsely accused of rape and ended up in jail until the guys who had actually had consensual sex with my accuser showed up and cleared my name. Now, a year ago, from that, when I was like 18 years old, I would have crumbled under the pressure, And here are a few things that I went through. I was interrogated for over 7 hours. The detectives told me to just confess, that I did it, and I'd be out of prison in 8 to 11 years. I was deliberately locked up in a cell block with prisoners who were being transferred from a maximum security prison just in order to scare me into confessing. My name was completely destroyed at my college. I was ostracized by everyone, and they all just thought I was some sort of rapist. Now, I also had to publicly face a student government board and a college panel which wanted to have me expelled. I was also not allowed to go within 20 feet of any of the dorms for the rest of my college career, even though I had been cleared of any wrongdoing. Now, despite my fear, I was confident that I would get through the situation. My meditation practice deepened, as I had a lot of free time to sit in silence. Had I been merely on level 1 or level 2, that level of change, it would have been game over for me. I would have freaked out during those marathon interrogation sessions, and I would have said something stupid. I would have shown fear in jail. I probably would have just been a little bitch in jail. I would have felt shame when I returned to campus, and maybe I would have even transferred schools to avoid being treated like some sort of outcast. Instead, I fought against the false accusation, I bounced back, I cleared my name, and I came back stronger than ever. Perhaps level 3 even saved my life in a weird way. From then onwards, I began to search for ways to achieve level 1, 2, and 3 very fast in different areas of my life. So in everything I did, whenever I reached a roadblock that I could not overcome myself, I quickly sought out someone who had overcome it before me. And before I knew it, guys, my life was unrecognizable. Now, don't get me wrong. It comes with much greater challenges, but when you level up, you learn that life designed you to handle any challenge that it throws at you. So trust life. Just level up. Life literally rewards. In fact, I would say it blesses those who consistently level up. Life, nature, the universe, they're all in this constant state of change. Thus, you as a creation, you work in tandem with life when you embrace change, because life is changing as well. What if all your dreams could become a reality if you could just make that level 3 paradigm shift? That transformation, that evolution from one human being today to a completely different one. And not just once, but do it several times in your life. I'll give you a good example. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? So he went from a soldier in the Austrian army to a European bodybuilding champion to the American bodybuilding champion. He was also a construction worker while he was a part-time college student. He ran a marketing and he ran a seminar business that made him a millionaire before he even got into movies. Then he became a real estate investor. He was an extra in some movies. Then he became a Hollywood star. Then he became American royalty by marrying a Kennedy. Then he became the governor of the state of California. He went back and became a movie star again. And then he became Donald Trump's replacement on The Apprentice. And God knows what else the man is doing today. These are the accomplishments of somebody who is consistently in a state of transformation and moving with life. So that's a man who's implemented level 1, level 2, and level 3 change throughout his life. And he has had mentors all the way while he was doing it. From his first bodybuilding mentors when he was in Austria, who showed him the basics of bodybuilding, to Steve Reeves, to Franco Colombo, to, teaching him construction. He had mentors every step of the way. The man is, I think, over 70 now. And some of you watching this are going to be done by 39. Game over. You're going to be married unhappily. You're going to be porned out. You're going to be sick, overwhelmed by debt and a job you hate, or you're just comfortable in and you're just average. You're going to be the guy who says, you know what, I've heard all this stuff before. I'm thankful for all the little things that I have in my life, my kids, my wife, my mortgage, my job. I'm content and comfortable. I mean, what more could a man ask for? And then you die. That was it. That was your life. You came, you fucked, you ate, you had some kids, you watched some porn, you masturbated compulsively like an animal, you worked to make some guy wealthy and level up in his life, you bought some stuff that some guy said that you should buy because it made you temporarily happier, you played some video games, some golf, and then you died. For some people, that's fine. But if you're struggling with a porn addiction and that sounds terrible to you, maybe it's time for transformation in your life. Most average people fear change, or at the very best only want small changes in their life. The big changes scare the crap out of you. Too far out of your comfort zone, too much risk. Now when you're ready to make that change, recovery mentorship with me can help you. I've reduced the number of men that I work with each month because I just want to be able to focus on each man's transformation. Don't wait for this, participate. So I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. You can apply for a free 10-minute conversation with me so that I can decide if and how I can help you. If I can, we'll get on a longer 45-minute call and create a plan for you, whether it's for a situation or a life area or for your transformation. If you found this video helpful, share them with 3 men that you feel would find it helpful. Have a wonderful day.